Hello everyone, welcome back. So in the previous video, we have implemented multi-factor authentication for the root account. So we have successfully implemented it. And in today's video, we'll be talking about different types of policies and how can they help us to manage the access and permissions to AWS resources. So we'll be talking about different types of policies. So before that, if you see the identity and access management, you see it's globally. So let's say, for example, let's say let us select some database, and let us select the DynamoDB. So in this case, you can see it's in North Virginia. So it's not specific. So this is specific for this particular region. But whenever you select IAM roles, it's selected for the globally. So that is what the difference between this normal service and the IAM roles. So let me go back here, and let's talk about different types of policies that we have. So you can go to the policy section, and so coming to the first types of policy, it's identity-based policy. So these policies are attached to individual IAM, which is identity and access management, users, groups, or roles. So they define what actions can be performed on which AWS resources by associating entities. So identity-based policies are commonly used to grant or restrict access to granular level. So that is what identity-based policies are. Coming to the second one, it's resource-based policy. So resource-based policies are attached directly to AWS resources such as S3 buckets, Lambda functions, and so on. So these policies define the permissions for other entities to access the resources. For example, you can allow a specific IAM user or an entire AWS account to access an S3 bucket through a resource-based policy. So that is second type of policy, which is resource-based policies. So coming to the third one, it is permission boundaries. So permission boundaries are policies that can be attached to IAM entities like users or roles. So they define the maximum permissions that can be granted to the entity. So this helps to limit the extent of permissions that can be assigned to the entity, ensuring that it cannot be given more privileges than intended. So that is third type, which is permission boundaries. Coming to the fourth one, it is organizational SCPs. So SCP is nothing but service control policy, SCP. So organizational SCPs are policies used in AWS organizations to centrally manage permission across multiple AWS accounts within an organization. So these policies allow you to set a fine-grained restrictions on what services and actions can be performed by accounts or organizational units. So SCP helps to enforce the security and compliance requirements by limiting the actions that accounts can take. So that is the fourth type, which is organizational SCP. Coming to the fifth one, it is access control list. So these are used to control access to AWS resources such as S3 buckets or the network resources. So ACLs define rules that specify who can access the resources and what level of access they have. So they work at a resource level and allow you to grant or deny the permissions to specific users, groups, or IP address. So that is the fifth type, which is access control list, or ACL in short. So coming to the session policy, so session policies are used in a context of AWS temporary security credentials, such as those obtained from IAM roles or AWS STS, which is security token service. So when a user assumes a role or acquired temporary credentials, a session policy can be attached to further restrict the permissions for that particular session. So session policies help limit the scope of permissions for temporary credentials and provide additional security for reducing the risk of misuse. So that is the sixth one, which is session policies. So these are six different types of policies that we have in AWS. So let's search for one of the policy here. So let's go ahead with AC2, or you can search anyone that you want. You can see here the type. So you can see we have AWS managed, and if you just remove it, there is other one, which is so AWS job function, and we have AWS managed. So let's search for EC2 here, or the services that you want. So in this case, let's select the first one, which is Amazon EC2 full access. So you can see here we have JSON format. So this is the permission defined in this particular policy. So that's it for now in this video. In the next video, we'll be talking about all this, like what each section is defined in this JSON. And we'll be discussing more about like what is version, what is statement, action, effect, and so on. So coming to this video, I hope you guys have understood the concept of today's video. If you have liked the video, please click the like button below. And if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel and please share the video. Thanks everyone.